The most Osaka thing you can eat is not on any postcard. It is cooked on a hot iron right in front of you. 20 dishes, 1 city, ranked from number 20 down to number 1, with the real price of every single bite. And no, takoyaki is not number 1. Stay to the end and you will understand exactly why. Number 20 starts now. Number 20. Hiyashi. A chilled ginger syrup drink that tastes exactly like Osaka 100 years ago. About $1.50. Malt sugar and fresh ginger, boiled down into a syrup, then cut with cold water. It is sweet first, then the ginger hits the back of your throat and warms you from the inside out. In winter, the same shops serve it hot and call it a mayo. Same syrup, opposite season, same comfort. You find it at old sweet shops and bathhouses near Tsutenkaku in the oldest corner of the city. It is the taste locals reach for on a hot day, and almost no visitor ever orders it. Running total, $1.50. 19 to go, and the next one is shaped like a fish, but was never a fish. Number 19. Taiyaki. A crisp fish-shaped cake, poured into an iron mold and filled while it cooks. About $1.50. The classic filling is sweet red bean, but a warm custard version has quietly taken over. The good ones are thin and crisp at the tail, where the shell is almost all crackle and no dough. There is a real debate about whether to start at the head or the tail. People take sides for life. It arrives too hot to hold, so you juggle it from hand to hand and burn your fingers anyway. You will spot the stalls by the smell of toasting batter drifting halfway down a covered shopping street. $3 so far. Number 18 is fried in the back of a butcher shop, and it costs almost nothing. Number 18. Korokke. A crisp potato croquette, crumbed and deep fried, sold hot from the corner butcher shop. About $1.50. Mashed potato and a little minced beef, wrapped in panko and fried until it shatters. The butcher shops make them to use up the same beef they sell, so the good ones taste rich and meaty. You eat it in 2 bites, standing on the sidewalk, with a dab of tangy brown sauce on top. Bite too early and the center is molten, hot enough to teach you patience you did not know you needed. This is everyday food, the after-school snack, and the walk-home treat in every neighborhood in Osaka. For $50. Number 17 is a tiny octopus on a stick, and it hides a whole egg inside. Number 17. Idako. A tiny whole octopus, glazed sweet and glossy, with a quail egg tucked in its head. About $2. It is simmered in a sweet soy glaze until the whole thing turns candy dark and shiny. You bite the head first, and the soft egg gives way to chewy, sweet, faintly briny octopus underneath. The contrast is the whole idea. Soft, creamy egg against firm, springy octopus, sweet glaze tying it together. You see it lined up at market stalls and festival stands, catching the light like little lacquered ornaments. It looks like a novelty and tastes like a serious snack, which is exactly the Osaka way with seafood. $6.50. Number 16 is squid, but not on a stick, and Osaka makes it in a way you have never seen. Number 16. Ikayaki. And forget squid on a stick, because Osaka presses it flat between 2 hot irons. About $2.50. Squid and batter, griddled thin, brushed with sauce, then folded like a savory pancake. It is chewy and eggy and deeply savory, and it costs about as little as anything hot in the city. The most famous version lives in a basement food hall under a department store by the main station. They fry hundreds an hour on a huge flat iron, and the line never really stops from open to close. There is a richer version with an egg cracked over it, and yes, you always order the one with the egg. $9 now. Number 15 is pure sugar and pure spectacle, and it glows red under the neon. Number 15. Ringo Aim. A whole crisp apple locked inside a thin, glassy shell of hard red candy. About $3. The apple is dipped in molten sugar, then it sets into a shell that cracks like glass. The bite is loud. First the sharp shatter of sugar, then the cold, tart snap of the apple underneath. Lately the trend is tiny apples, barely bigger than a golf ball, so the shell-to-fruit ratio flips. This is festival food, the thing you carry through a summer crowd while fireworks go off over the river. Half of why it exists is the way it looks, and Dotonbori at night was built for exactly that. $12. Number 14 is a steamed pork bun from a shop so loved it has its own advertising jingle. Number 14. Butaman. A steamed pork bun, fluffy and hot, from the single most famous counter in Osaka. About $3 for a pair. Ground pork and sweet onion in a soft, slightly sweet steamed dough. The onion is the secret. It goes in raw and sweetens as it steams, and it keeps the filling juicy. This shop is an institution. There is a running joke about the whole train smelling like it after you buy one. You eat it fresh from the steamer, standing near the station, before it has any chance to cool. There is mustard on the side, and locals dotted on the second bite, never the first, always the second. $15. Number 13 is a whole octopus flattened into a single crisp cracker the size of your whole face. Number 13. Tako Senbei. A whole small octopus pressed with batter into one enormous, paper-thin, sizzling cracker. About $3.50. The octopus is laid on a hot plate and crushed flat by a heavy iron press. It comes out wider than a dinner plate and thin enough to see light through at the edges. It tastes like the deep sea concentrated and toasted, savory and salty, with a crunch that carries down the street. It is a tourist stretch novelty near the famous bridges, but the good ones are genuinely, seriously delicious. You carry it like a fan through the crowd, breaking off pieces, leaving a trail of crumbs behind you. $18.50. Number 12 is beef tendon simmered in sweet miso until it collapses on the skewer. Number 12. Doteyaki. Beef tendon simmered for hours in sweet red miso until it falls apart when touched. About $3.50 for a few skewers. Miso, mirin, and sugar reduced down into a deep dark sauce. The tendon turns to something between meat and jelly, rich and wobbling, that dissolves the second it hits your tongue. It is topped with raw green onion and a dusting of chili pepper, and it exists to be eaten with beer. This is Shinsekai food, the old downtown under the tower, where the counters have simmered the same pot for decades. The miso pot is never emptied. It is topped up daily, and the age of the sauce is a point of pride. $22. Number 11 is griddle fried noodles, and it is the base half of something greater later. Number 11. Yakisoba. Wheat noodles fried hard on a flat iron with cabbage, pork, and a sweet dark sauce. About $4. The trick is heat and patience, letting some strands catch and crisp against the iron. The sauce is the same fruity, tangy brown sauce that flavors half the griddle food in this city. It gets finished with dried seaweed flakes and pink pickled ginger, sharp little bites that cut the richness. You meet it at every festival stall, sizzling on a huge iron plate the size of a door, all night. It is simple, cheap, and everywhere, and remembering it is delicious takes exactly one bite off the iron. $26. Number 10 is a pot of simmered comfort that Osaka stubbornly calls by a different name. Number 10. Udon. Except in Osaka they call it Kanto-daki, and they will correct you if you forget. About $4 for a small bowl. Radish, egg, fish cake and tendon, simmered slowly in a light, clear broth. The daikon is the quiet star. It cooks for hours until it is soft, sweet, and soaked all the way through. The Osaka broth is lighter and clearer than the Eastern style, gentle kelp and light soy, nothing heavy. You point at what you want and they lift it out, and a smear of sharp mustard comes on the side. It is winter food, the thing you eat at a standing counter with a warm cup while the cold waits outside. $30. Number 9 is a bowl of udon that Osaka actually invented, topped with something sweet and golden. Number 9. Kitsune Udon. Thick udon in a light golden broth, topped with a sheet of sweet fried tofu. About $5. And this bowl was born right here in Osaka over 130 years ago. The fried tofu is simmered in sweet soy until it is soaked and juicy, and it soaks up the broth too. The broth is the whole soul of Kansai cooking, light kelp dashi and pale soy, delicate where the East goes dark. The name means fox because folklore says foxes love fried tofu, and the story is older than the dish. It is plain, warm and cheap, the bowl locals grew up on, the one that tastes like being taken care of. $35. Number 8 is the same udon, but topped with something most visitors would never dare try. Number 8. Kasu Udon. The same warm udon, crowned with crispy fried beef intestine that melts into the broth. About $6. The intestine is deep fried until most of the fat renders out and only crunch remains. Then it hits the hot broth and does something magic. The edges soften, the fat blooms, the whole bowl goes rich. It comes from the farm country south of the city, where nothing from the animal was ever wasted. It sounds extreme and tastes deeply comforting, a bowl that is somehow both deeply frugal and completely indulgent. Order it once, and the whole idea of using every scrap of an animal suddenly makes total sense. $41. Number 7 is smoke and charcoal, skewers grilled over coals until the fat drips and flares. Number 7. Yakitori. Chicken skewers grilled over glowing charcoal until the skin blisters and the fat turns to smoke. About $6 for a set. Every part of the bird goes on a stick, from thigh to skin to soft cartilage. You choose your seasoning. Just salt to taste the bird, or a sweet soy glaze brushed on in layers. The skin skewer is the test. Rendered until it is crisp and lacy, it is the reason regulars keep a favorite counter. You eat it at a tiny counter down a lantern-lit alley, elbow to elbow, over a cold glass of beer. It is not unique to Osaka, but the alleys under the tracks here grill it as well as anywhere in Japan. $47. Number 6 is a griddle cake loaded with green onion instead of cabbage, and it changes everything. Number 6. Nediyaki. A thin griddle cake packed with green onion instead of cabbage, and it is the local secret. About $6.50. It is thinner and crispier than its famous cousin, and packed with far more onion than batter. There is no heavy sweet sauce here. It is brushed with soy and citrus instead, so the onion actually leads. The classic adds beef tendon and konjac, simmered soft, folded through the middle before it hits the iron. It was invented at a shop in a quiet Osaka neighborhood, and locals still argue it beats the tourist favorite. The green onion goes sweet and jammy as it cooks, and the whole cake tastes fresher and sharper than you expect. $53.50. From here up, the top 5 are the ones Osaka would fight you over. Number 5 is offal. Number 5. Horumon. Grilled beef offal, the working-class city food that Osaka turned into a genuine obsession. About $7. The name comes from an old Osaka word for the parts that used to be thrown away. The pieces are packed with fat that liquefies over the flame, going from rubber to something almost like custard. The rule is patience. Grill it too fast and it fights back. Grill it slow and it melts on your tongue. You dip it in a garlicky salt or a rich sweet soy sauce, and you keep the pieces coming one at a time. This is deeply local food, born in the post-war years when nothing could be wasted and everything got grilled. The good places are loud, smoky, and cheap, and half the fun is the smoke soaking into your jacket. Different cuts hit differently, chewy and firm to soft and fatty, and finding your favorite is the entire game. It sounds like a dare and eats like a reward, and that gap is exactly why locals defend it so hard. $60.50. Number 4 takes the humble griddle cake and packs a whole nest of noodles inside it. Number 4. Modanyaki. Take the savory griddle cake, then bury a whole nest of fried noodles inside it. About $8.50. It is okonomiyaki and yakisoba stacked into one, two of the great griddle foods fused. The name means modern, from the days when adding noodles to a cabbage cake felt like a bold new idea. The noodle layer gives it two textures at once, soft and saucy above, crisp and tangled just underneath. It is flipped whole on the iron, a big confident move, and getting it to land clean takes real practice. Then it gets the works. Sweet brown sauce, mayo in fine lines, seaweed flakes, and dried bonito that dances in the heat. The bonito flakes really do move, curling and waving in the heat like the whole thing is still alive. You eat it straight off the teppan with a small metal spatula in hot squares before the crisp softens. It is more filling than it looks, and finishing one alone is a small, satisfying, slightly reckless achievement. $69. Number 3 is the food on every Osaka postcard, and it still is not number 1. Number 3. Takoyaki. The octopus balls on every postcard, every ad, every photo, and still only number 3. About $4.50. Wheat batter, a chunk of octopus, crisp fried bits, and pickled ginger in a cast iron pan. This is where it was born, invented in Osaka in the 1930s, and the whole world took it from here. The magic is the turn. A metal pick spins each ball a quarter at a time until it rounds into a sphere. The outside crisps and the inside stays molten, so hot and loose it nearly pours when you bite in. Sauce, mayo, seaweed, and dancing bonito go on top, and it arrives too hot to eat every single time. Everyone burns their mouth on the first one. The octopus inside is chewy and sweet and worth the small injury. Here is the honest part. It is genuinely great, but for locals it became a thing tourists photograph. It earns its fame completely. It just is not the dish Osaka people eat when nobody is watching. $73.50. Number 2 is fried on a stick, dipped in a shared pot with one unbreakable rule. Number 2. Kushikatsu. Everything you can imagine, skewered, breaded, deep-fried, and dipped in one shared pot of sauce. About $8 for a set. Pork, quail egg, lotus root, cheese, shrimp, whatever is fresh, each on its own skewer. The crust is fine, light panko, fried so clean it stays crisp and greaseless if the oil is hot and right. There is one shared pot of thin sauce on every counter, and here is the only rule that matters. No double dipping. Ever. One skewer goes in the sauce one time, because everyone shares the same pot. If you want more sauce, that is what the free raw cabbage is for. You scoop with the leaf, never the skewer. This is Shinsekai food, the old downtown under the tower, where the counters are cheap, loud, and stacked with skewers. You order in waves, skewer after skewer, and the empty sticks pile up as your own personal scoreboard. It is pure Osaka. Unpretentious, endlessly variable, built for eating a lot while spending a little all night long. $81.50. One left. And the answer is the food that is not on a single postcard. Number 1. Okonomiyaki. A savory cabbage cake cooked on a hot iron, and this is the soul of Osaka. About $7.50. Above the octopus balls. Above the fried skewers. A cabbage pancake is the best thing here. The name means grilled how you like it, and that is the entire philosophy of the dish in 3 words. Batter, a mountain of shredded cabbage, egg, and pork belly, mixed together and poured thick onto the iron. Here is the argument for number 1. Every other dish is something you go out somewhere to eat. Okonomiyaki is the one they make at home. Family gathered around a table griddle, everyone cooking their own. It gets flipped once, pressed gently, never squashed, and left alone until the cabbage inside turns soft and sweet. Then the finish. Sweet brown sauce, mayo in lines, green seaweed, and bonito flakes that wave in the heat. Inside it is soft, almost custardy from the cabbage and egg, rich from the pork, savory and sweet at once. This is what home tastes like here. Not the tourist icon, not the photo, just the food the city runs on.
I can't wait.
20 dishes, $89 in total. And the best one was a cabbage pancake cooked on an iron.
I can't wait.
That is the whole point of this city. The best thing is not the famous thing. It never was. So which one did I get wrong? Because somebody is already typing a furious defense of takoyaki right now. Tell me in the comments. If enough of you argue for the same dish, I will give it a full episode. And tell me which country the compass should point to next. The single most requested one gets made next. Hungry Compass. One legendary dish, one unforgettable country, every single week. Next week we leave Japan entirely and go somewhere the street food is older than most countries alive. If you made it this far, you're exactly who this channel is built for. Subscribe and stay hungry. One more thing before you go, and it brings us right back to exactly where we first started. The most Osaka thing you can eat is not on any postcard. It is cooked on a hot iron right in front of you.